Hi, I'm Luke, the long-haired hiker, and welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be doing a review on a Vango Orion 200, which is a two-person tent and it is a budget tent. I got this for about 115 quid with my own money. I think you can get it cheaper, sometimes at 80 quid, but I just wanted to buy it, so I did. It's billed as a 4-season tent, and yeah, I'm just going to open it here. First looks, haven't opened it before, as you can see, and I'm going to give you my views on what I think of the tent. I'm actually going to use this tent to go camping in Wales next week, so I'll be able to kind of like open it up, set it up for the first time here, and I do believe you can set it up as an inner outer as well, so I'll get that all set up with you guys today. So let's crack on and get this open. So there's the bag. It comes in a nice little stuff sack here. Let's get it open and see how big the stuff sack is. I think it's quite a spacious stuff sack, this one. So just two normal clips here to undo it. And then a little toggle there to pull it open with. And then you've got the tent inside there. Do you know what? Before I get this out, I'm going to weigh this all as it comes, just so you get a good idea of how much this all weighs. I think it boasts like 2.8 kilograms or something like that. So I'll go and get my scales and we'll weigh that now. So I've got my scales here, just some suitcase scales. I'm going to whack that on there. I'll lift it up. That's coming in about 2.66 kilograms, 2.65, 2.67. So actually a little bit less than it boasts on the website. I'm pretty sure it said 2.8, but yeah, 2.67. It's still quite a heavy tent, but I'm guessing that's with all the bag to go with, but it's fine. Okay, so let's have a little look at what's inside this pack. So you've got that little toggle there which opens up, and you've got a really, really spacious stuff sack here, which is quite cool. I know with my other tents that sometimes you have to really squeeze them in, so it's nice to see that you've got this huge stuff sack, which is very handy if you're trying to pack up quickly. It does have an instruction manual in there. I'm going to try and do it without, as every man does. But yeah, let's have a little look at what's inside. Pop them in here for now. So I'm guessing this is all the inner and outer here. You've got your tent pegs there, and your tent poles there, and your tent pegs. Let's have a look at these pegs. They're probably going to be really horrible metal ones. Not entirely sure. There might be some repair patches in there and some bungees. So very much repair pack that. And yeah, you've got these awful cheap pegs. I will swap them out for better ones. I won't take these with me on a hike. But to be honest, that's what you expect with a cheaper tent like this, is these cheap tent pegs. But we'll use them for today for the purpose of just kind of getting this tent up and having a look at it. So we'll pop them all to one side for now. So you've got the tent poles here, which are a 7001 T6 alloy, these poles. They're pretty decent. They say here they've got rear pole on here, and I think they're color coded as well with the blue and the brown there. So just two different poles, that's all you've got with this tent, because it is a tunnel tent. I'm hoping that it's going to be able to handle the wind pretty well, being that it's a tunnel tent, and they do tend to handle wind a little bit better. And as this is billed as an all-season tent, then yeah, fingers crossed it will handle the wind a little bit better. I did see it does have the markings on here, yeah, so that's got on here front pole. Wait on here, see if I can get a better angle of that. On here you can see front pole. I don't know if you can get that on camera, But yeah, it's clearly labelled. So the front pole is the blue one, and then the rear pole will be the brown pole. So quite clearly labelled up. It'll be interesting to see if they do have that colour matched on the actual tent to help you in bad conditions and stuff like that. But we'll see when we get that up. I have a feeling that this tent has it's quite a low headroom in this, so it'll be interesting when we get it up, because being 6 foot tall, it might be a little bit snug for me, even though it is a 2-man tent, but we will see. That bit there, that's the front ground sheet for the vestibule area. So it's nice that it comes with that. I don't know whether you'll be able to put that in to go up when you put the whole tent up, but we will have a look at that in a bit when we've got the tent up. I think what I'm going to have to do is put the outer fly up first and then clip the inner inside, and it's just the best way of doing it. And then once I've done that once, it should be good to just set up as one whole tent. You can hear a buzzard screaming up there. It's probably looking for some prey or protecting its young. So let's get the, I think that is the outer fly there, and I'll put the inner sheet to one side for now, and we'll get this outer fly up first. All right, let's get this set up. I'm just going to stake out one end first, and then I'll be able to pull it out. And this is the first time I've set this tent up, so you'll have to bear with me a little bit, because I don't know how it goes up really. All right, I think this is the front vestibule area. So let's stake out these first. And then we'll just come round and stake all of these as we go round. In fact, I'm going to get the poles in first. I'm pretty sure this is the front of the tent, which is the blue pole. And it is colour coded just here with that little toggle just there, and the pole goes into there. So let's get this pole in here now. This one isn't pre-bent, the front one, the back one is, but I believe the front loop is a lot taller than that back one, so that's got to go over a much more of a tighter angle at the back. So let's just get this pole through. So the pole just inserts into this loop here, and that's nice and easy. And then I'll just go and do the other side, and it should bring the tent up into some sort of shape once this is set in. Cool, so that's one in there. I'm just gonna lie that down for now, get the other pole in. That's what's quite nice about these tents when you're in really windy weather. You can lie them flat with, say if the wind was coming from behind me as I'm sat, you can lie them pretty flat and the wind's not going to pull it out because I've staked in the end bits and the tent's not going to go anywhere. As long as you keep all the bags kind of like safe and out of the wind, you should be absolutely fine. But you can, for the most part, keep them flat so that the wind's just not going to blow it away. That back one was a little bit tighter to get in there, but it's looking good. I'll get the other two stakes in this side, and it should just bring the whole tent up. Oh, look. Beware the tangled guy lines. There you go. get those 2 in there. That's 1. And 2. It's already looking pretty rigid, to be honest. I haven't really done much to it. I've just put the 4 pegs in either corner. It's looking pretty good. I've got another guy line wrapped around here. Just going to pull that out. So that's the tent kind of set up, just with 4 pegs in the corners, and it's pretty solid already. You've got guy lines with 2 mounting points here. Obviously this just clips in there. I would probably recommend wrapping this round once down here just to get the extra kind of security on those poles, and they will just come into the floor like this. I might as well just get them all staked out now. Just going to go around and do all of the guy lines so you can get a good idea of what it looks like completely set up. There's a nice little vent underneath here as well, so that's quite nice to have that. Obviously all of these are just tensioners on here, so you can just pull that and tighten as you go around as well, so that just keeps it nice and taut. So you can just kind of go around and tighten as you go. Obviously, depending on where the wind is coming from, you'll put these guide lines out. It's not windy today, so I'm just popping them kind of like at their angles. So that's all the guy lines set up. They're nice and tight. And this tent, it's actually for a £100 or so tent, it's a pretty decent bit of kit, to be honest. It's on the heavy side. I did look at the specifications and it does say about 2.62 kilograms. Now, to put that into perspective, my Nemo comes in at 1.7, 1.8 kg. So you are nearly a kilogram heavier, but for a build 4-season tent, and to be honest, this fly does come quite low to the ground. You can probably cinch it up a little bit more there, but it looks pretty decent for what it is. But yeah, let's go around the front and we'll have a little look inside the tent to see what we're looking with space-wise. All right, so let's have a look inside. You've got this nice thick flap here, which has just Velcro around the outside here. Obviously, you're not going to be able to do that from the inside. Once you've zipped yourself up from the inside, you might be able to do it as you go. But yeah, big flap there to stop the water from coming in through the zip here. You've got a zip down the bottom here, which just comes all the way up and around there. And as you can see, it's pretty spacious tent. Obviously we don't have the inner in there. I'm about to put that up in a second, but yeah, it's a pretty spacious tent. I'm going to take you inside. I'm just going to pop you inside the vestibule area here, just to show you a few bits and bobs inside. But also first, I want to show you this door. So you can actually vent out. You've got this second zip at the top here. So if it is quite a warm day, you can just vent out the top of the tent there and still keep the door closed. So if you want to cook inside at night time, you can just vent out the top of this tent and then cook your food, which is pretty decent. So let's do that back up and we'll go inside the tent. Come with me. So there you go. That's inside the tent here. I'm kind of like sat up, my head is kind of brushing the ceiling, so obviously once the inner's in here it's going to be a little bit more cramped and cozy. But to be honest, I don't mind having a cozy tent. There's enough room in that vestibule to have my bag, and I'm sure when it comes to like cooking my food, I can just bring, as the inner clips around this outer fly, you should be able to unclip it and bring it back so you've got a little bit more room to kind of do your cooking. But we'll have a little look at that in a minute if that is something that you can do in this tent, which will be a massive bonus. But yeah, you've got these little tension straps here, and you can just kind of like give it a little tug, just a tension from the inside as well as the outside. So that's pretty cool. But I think let's just get get the inner in here so we can kind of get an idea of what the actual tent looks like when it's up and ready to go. Okay, so this is the inner tent here. Obviously the zip's on this side, so that's the front side. So I'm just going to go and take it into the tent there and start clipping it in around the base and up the sides of the tent, and I'll work my way towards this end. Okay, you've got colour-coded toggle here at the back, and yeah, you do have a little colour-coded yellow loop. I'll take you inside in a second. I'll show you where that is just so you can see. But yeah, I'm just going to go back and kind of lay it out inside now. So I don't know if you can see, guys, but there's a little yellow colour-coded toggle here, and that's the one that's there. So I'm just guessing that kind of like toggles in at the top there. I do want to see, yeah, you've got these little clips. They are plastic. Hopefully they won't break. So yeah, I'm just going to take these little clips and attach it to basically wherever the poles come down or the pegs are in the corner attached. So I've got the back two corners. I'm going to go and do this now. So that took me a little while to find them. They've got little loops on there. I didn't see it straight away, but I did find it in the end. So I've got those back four clipped on. I'm just going to tighten up these struts here. It's nice and easy to do. Probably won't want them too tight because it will pull on the tent quite a bit. I'm just going to attach these on. These are just little toggles and they just clip on through like that. I'm going to go ahead and just do all those toggles now. Okay, moving on back, that's those done. So the next ones are these. They're just on this archway here, and I've got to put the bottom ones in at the here as well. So just down there. Clip these in just to these little loops on the feet here. They're really easy to see once you know where they are, and you can get them done very quickly. And then I'm going to do this archway as well. Yeah, you do have a colour-coded, I don't know if you can see that, a colour-coded red toggle here, and in here you've got a red loop as well, so you can actually see which way around the tent is. But to be honest, this door is all you need to know. As long as that's with the door opening, you can't really go wrong with regards to which way around this tent goes. I'd be pretty surprised if someone did get it round the wrong way. So that's it, the tent up. Let's have a little look inside and see how cosy this tent is. This unzips, obviously that's zipped up there. It unzips all the way round to here, and then you can just, yeah, it's got a little stuff sack round the corner so you can stuff that door out of the way. Okay, so that's inside of the tent there. It's nice and cosy. It is quite small when I'm sat here. I mean, if I slouch, you know, my head's just about touching the ceiling, and if I stand up tall, sit up tall, then my head does hit the ceiling. But it is quite cosy. I mean, to be honest, it's got loads of room in here, and let's see if you can actually. Yeah, so you can actually unhook some of this stuff and give yourself a little bit more room to kind of like cook in this area. So if you just kind of sit here, you've got all of this area, which is actually quite large to be able to cook your food. It's obviously, it might be a bit difficult with this behind you, but it does give you a bit of room to be able to have an extra bit of like vestibule space to to cook and do whatever you want in here, which is quite cool. And I probably will do that, to be honest, because it's good to have a little bit more room, especially when you're cooking with such a low ceiling, because you can, if it's a small area, you might knock things over or whatnot, but to have more of an area here is much better, I think. But yeah, I'm going to get the tape measure and we'll see what the kind of ceiling height is and how long it is, how wide it is at the front and the back, and how tall it is at the front and the back as well. Okay, let's have a little look, see how tall it is from the floor to the ceiling at the front. And you are looking at about 86 centimetres, so it's really not that tall at the front here. It is a little bit cramped, but again, like in those really wintry, blustery conditions, that actually might be quite nice to be more enclosed in, and it'll be warmer in here for that as well. Width at the front, you're looking at about 130 centimetres at the front, so it's quite wide at the front, but it does narrow towards the back there. So let's just get a measurement from the back. Actually, I'm going to give you a measurement, I'd say 2/3 of the way down, because that's still quite wide there, and then it really dramatically narrows at the very back. So 2/3 of the way down, you're looking at about 110, so it does narrow by about 20 centimetres there. And the very back, you're looking at about 80 centimetres, so much narrower at the back there. Length we are talking 210 centimetres, so that's plenty enough for me. I'm 6 foot dead, and yeah, that's plenty long enough for me. I'll have a little lie down in here now, just so you can see what it looks like lengthwise. So I'm not going to lie, it is pretty tight in here. My feet do touch the top of the inner tent at the bottom. If it gets condensation in the tent, that could be an issue, but it is pretty tight. I'm not going to lie, it's definitely, in my opinion, not a 2-man tent this. So, but it is a roomy 1-man tent, albeit it does kind of dip down at the back there. So if you're okay with that, then that's absolutely fine. And my head was right up near the top here. But yeah, to be honest, that wouldn't bother me, I don't think. But as I said, I'm going to take it out next week and give it a go. So we've done measurements. I'm just going to go over a few more stats with you about this tent. Okay, so just about the waterproofing of this tent. The bathtub floor of the inner is a 70D material, which is going to be perfect for anything you need. The outer is also a 70D as well, 70D fabric. So it should be absolutely fine in any weather, to be honest. All the seams are taped as well, factory sealed. So they're double stitched and taped, so that's really good as well. I mean, to be honest, altogether, I think that this is a brilliant tent for the money, and I don't think you can go wrong if you're looking to getting into camping and you don't want to spend a lot of money. Then I really highly recommend getting this tent, because you're going to be able to take this out in most weather, and for the 100 quid price tag, or 115 I paid for it, you really can't go wrong. It's absolutely brilliant. It's not too big either. You know, although again it's billed as a 2-man tent, it's definitely not a 2-man tent. In my opinion, I think that would be very snug. You'd have to like the person a lot to be in and there with them. It's very snug. But yeah, I haven't got the porch kind of ground sheet out, so I'm gonna just get that out and see what that looks like, and see if I can pitch that together with it as well. Because if I can keep that on there and just not have to worry about putting anything on when you get it out, that would be top, to be honest. But once that's is in there and put in, that'll pitch all as one now. So pretty damn easy. I'm just going to go and get that porch out, pop that in, and that'll be the last thing I need to do really. So with this porch, all you need to do is kind of roll this door up, and then on the other side of here you have toggles. I'll bring you in a little bit closer here. You've got this toggle here, which you just bring around and pop through that loop. Really basic and simple, but that just keeps that door rolled up and out of the way. There's nothing wrong with a bit of a simple design there, is there? All these tents have got newfangled ways of doing things, but that works. So let's get this, or try to figure out how to get this beginning ground sheet in. It's got loads of little elastic band things in. You actually had a few of these in that repair pack as well, so I'm guessing that's got something to do with this. Guessing it goes the shiny side up. Guessing then you just have to go through where you peg it in. It's a bit of a nightmare. There you go. That looks pretty decent. To be honest, you're not going to be able to put this in and set it up with the tent just the way it is, really, to be honest. There's no way of actually putting this in as part of the makeup, so it's going to have to be a thing that you do afterwards, which isn't too bad, to be honest. It is very quick to do, and as long as you know how, then happy days. So yeah, it's a pretty decent thing to have in there. And if the floor is wet, it will keep you off the floor and keep you dry. All right, so that is the Vango Orion 200. I actually think it's a really decent tent for the price bracket. And yeah, if you're looking into getting into camping, or if you've been camping for a while and you just want another tent that's a 4-season tent and cheap, I can probably highly recommend this. Again, I'm about to take it out next week in the mountains in Wales, so I will be able to kind of run through then what I thought of the practical uses of it and whether I think it's a good tent that I would actually use again. So yeah, I'm gonna now pack the tent down to see how long it takes. Hopefully not too long. The vestibule ground sheet there. I'm just going to lay this all down first. Surprised it's still standing up. So when I usually get to this point, I'll now take out the poles. I've still got those 2 pegs in, so if the wind is coming from one side, then it's not going to blow anywhere. I take the tent poles out while it's laying down. And that way, keeping the tent pegs in at the end, you can keep it nice and secure until you've wrapped it up. And then the luxury of having such a big stuff sack is that even though I've kind of roughly, hurriedly packed that away and rolled it up, and obviously after a camp I would take it out at home, clean everything up, make sure everything's tied away nice and easy, you can just stuff that in the bag with all your tent pegs and your poles and make a quick getaway nice and easy. So it's really good to have a big stuff sack like this when you're packing up your tent. Again, I've got my Nemo tent. It's such a difficult tent to get back in that sack, and you know, I literally stuff it in as quick as I can, but this is huge. Got to put that away. That'll just sit on top for now, and I'll sort that out later before I head out. But even though I've forgotten to put this in here, there's still plenty of room in this pack to fit it in, and you just cinch that up at the top, and then you've got these clips. So it really is a simple tent to pack away, and then these compression straps will just cinch those up, so when you do pop it in your backpack, it makes it as small as possible. To be honest, I'll probably keep the poles out and pop them in my backpack separate, so I can really squish this down as much as I can, and I'll probably put the poles on the outside or something like that. But to be honest, I'm really super impressed with this tent. Again, I'll see what it's like next week, but again, I just don't think you can go wrong for the price tag of what it is. And if you're looking to get into camping, this is a great tent to start off with, and I'll be able to confirm that next week. But I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope it's kind of helped you along your way with a decision as to whether to purchase this tent or something like it from the similar brand, Vango. But yeah, if you've liked it, please like and subscribe, as it all helps, and I will see you in the next video, which will be my mountain top camp in Snowdonia. See you then. Take care, guys.